I was in the dressing room and I'm like changing in the corner, and this girl comes up to me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to change into my outfit." And she's like, "Look around you." And I take a look, and then all the women are, completely naked, putting deodorant on, fresheners, like all this stuff. And I'm hiding in the corner, and I'm like, she's like, "What are you doing? Like, we're all naked. Like, who cares? You're just a body, like, no one cares." And I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like, I am just a body, So then, this is the beginning of, me coming out of this shell, and I was just pretty shy. But then before you know it, like as soon as you start making the money, like everything just changes. And so now I'm experiencing what a really good stripper I actually am. And I start to develop this, fake role of being who I thought that these men would want me to be. And it actually worked. So every time I would make more money, the more money would come in, the more it just affirmed, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I was good at it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think the biggest thing for me during that time, I did it for 10 years. The biggest thing for me was I was able to gain a sense of control, a sense of power. Like I felt like I was in control of my own life for the first time. No man can tell me what to do or how to do it. But then I started to really, really grow like deep resentment toward men, where now I hated all men. They were all pigs. They were all perverts. I knew they just wanted one thing from me. And so I was playing the game so I can get that one thing from them. And so it was a constant game, but I just wanted more of it. It was like feeding my ego, my pride. And it was like the more I wanted, the less complete I would feel.
Yeah.
And I would say I had a breaking point one day. It's kind of funny, but I was in my mid-20s and I was talking to my friend. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need an education. I need to do something else. Like, what am I going to put on my resume when I leave here? I have nothing to put on a resume but that I'm a stripper. Like, that's it. And I'm like, I don't want to be like 80 years old dancing and my thongs are going to be sagging off my butt really. Like, I'm like, I need to do something with my life. Like, what am I doing?
That's a first for this podcast.
Listen, that is great. That is great. Hey, whatever works for the epiphany, let's bring it. That's good. That is so good.
Saggy thongs. So I'm like,
that is great.
So eventually I go through a very trying time with the boyfriend I had at that time, and we break up. Another friend invites me to church, and I just remember walking in the church and seeing all these people so free, happy with their hands lifted up, and what it looked like a surrender, but I didn't know what they were surrendering to. I didn't really understand it. I just knew that was something that I wanted. And I began my little journey of getting to know who God is and who I am in God. And then I actually still worked in the industry for 5 years. When I gave my heart to Christ, still was dancing. And so I was, walking into, I was like two different people. I was a stripper at night and a Christian in the day, and hardly anyone knew. And as much as I thought I was so good at it, I realized what a secret I would keep from people, because I was embarrassed. I wasn't proud of it, but it was all I knew how to do. And I felt like I had no other choices. So eventually, after 5 years of back and forth, trying to be committed to Christ and then trying to make money, not really having any other resources or an education or any job experience to get out and try anything new. It was a constant battle. I really struggled. Eventually, I was 29. I was on set. I was in my second song, dancing on the stage. And I'll never forget, like, just the power of Christ in that very moment. I'm dancing to Led Zeppelin, Love Bites, one of my favorite songs still.
Right. Right.
Okay, but anyway, I'm dancing, and all of a sudden, I hear a passage that I had heard at church, and it was, "I purchase you for a price, therefore honor me with your body." Now,
Wow.
imagine I'm on the stage, I'm naked, I'm bending over about to receive money from a man, and I can hear this over and over in my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it became so loud that I started to hear it audibly. And I knew in that moment, like, I think I'm having an encounter with God. Like, this
Wow.
has to be, there's no,
Yeah.
my mind wasn't
That's
on
good.
church, on the Bible, nothing. Like, I'm trying to make money. And so this is happening. And all of a sudden, I look up at the customers sitting around the stage trying to hand me money. And God did like a double portion healing for me, because when I looked at them, it was the first time in all of the years where my hatred toward men had completely shattered. And
Wow.
as Michelle was saying, when she saw a human, when she walked in that store, she
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
I saw through a different set of lens. I saw love for these men, and I felt like the Lord was saying to me in that very moment, Crane, I died for him too.
Wow.
That's good. That's
Him
good.
and for him. And I just, my heart began to change in that very moment for the customers.
Mm.
And I got up and I went in the dressing room, threw my stripper shoes in the locker, locked it, and I walked out, and I didn't tell anyone. And I left, and I never turned back. I cried all the way home.